What does Obama and your gas price that you're paying every day at the pump have in common? Let's get into it in a little Glasgow edition of the Derek O'Shea Show. Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show, where we discuss culture, news, politics, and more. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to tell your friends and family about the revolution. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien. ¿Y tú? I don't know. Sometimes on my show, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you guys so much for tuning into Derek O'Shea Show. It's a little later than I normally come out. But, you know, I have a job like the rest of us. I hope you guys are having a freaking fantastic day. If you want to support me and my show, that I will be doing exclusive content for my members only, go to buymeacoffee.com/Derek O'Shea Show. All one word, smashed together. Buymeacoffee.com/Derek O'Shea Show, or click the link in the bio. Also, if you want a mug with my face on it, there's a link in the bio as well. I just ordered one for myself just to see what they look like, because I think they look pretty funny. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I saw this morning. I watched this live. Why did I do that? I don't know. But Obama said something that really, perked my ears up, and I thought was ironic. As always with these climate activists, these climate summits, these conferences where you have all this energy, you have all these people together, and you have your little servants serving you and everything like that, and they're all taking their private planes to this to be a speaker. You know, these people, it's like the Trump comes out sometimes. These people are a laughingstock. All right.
Come on, man.
Thank you, Joe. These people tell you how you should live, but they don't do the same. They buy up their beachfront home properties in Hawaii. Multi-millionaire Obama, how did he become a millionaire? You know how he became one. They tell you how you should live. And all these climate progressive ideologies, these agendas, these bills that are put forth, these pipelines being shut down, oil production being shut down. Who fits the bill when this happens? Is it the elites? Is it the people in charge? Is it the people that actually push these agendas? Or is it people like you and me that has to fit the cost? See, these people don't care how much you pay at the pump. They just don't. I did a show on last Friday about the energy secretary laughing at the idea of lowering gas prices and what you have to pay, because they don't care what you pay. They don't. It's about the agenda. It's about the narrative. It's about this climate crisis. Because as always with Democrats, right, we have to be in crisis. Always. Always a crisis. Never let a good crisis go to waste. Rahm Emanuel, thank you so much for saying that. Let's get into this clip of Barack Obama today, though, because I think there's telling things in here.
With a higher per capita carbon footprint does have to do more than a country like Mali or Bangladesh. It's also why we need to make sure the people most affected by the transition to clean energy aren't the ones bearing most of the cost.
Now, this is a statement that should make you feel good on the inside and sounds good coming out. Yes, poor people shouldn't have to fit the bill, but who is fitting the bill the most? As I've always said, it's you and me. When you go to the gas pump, when you go to the grocery store, and you have to pay extra for inflation and the higher gas prices, because these companies aren't just going to fit the bill. They're going to pass it on to you. All right. So, and then your energy costs, your heating bill and stuff like that, your electricity, all this stuff adds up, and it affects you and me. It affects them too, but not at the level of you and me, because you and me don't live on multi-million-dollar beachfront properties in Hawaii. We don't have that capacity, unless I have a listener. And if you live on a beachfront property, be sure to be a subscriber on the show. Because, good God, Daddy wants some of that money. Chill, Daddy. Okay, let's keep listening to this. But as always, as I've always said, that this agenda, these things, they make you feel good on the inside. Green energy. Aren't you for that? Of course you are, because you'd be crazy not to say it. I want to make the earth better. But all that being said, who fits the bill? Who is crippled when these aggressive policies? We're not going to talk about nuclear energy, which would be totally cheap and effective and helpful for every single one. We're focused on wind energy and solar panels, as if they aren't going to, when those solar panels go bad and we have to get rid of them, it's not like those metals seep into water systems or we ship them off to Africa like some countries do. But let's keep listening to it. Everyone is affected by these policies. This idea that it's just Republicans against it because of oil money or some kind of climate denying us anti-science movement is just ridiculous. I hate that politicians, when they push these ideas, they push these bills, and they act like it's not going to affect people like you and me. They just say, this is what we need to do to spite the poor people are going to have to bite the bullet. But at the same time, Obama will come out and say, we want to push this agenda, but we don't want to do it while it affects those with lower income. But ultimately, stuff like this is affected with people with lower income. You raise the minimum wage. Yes, great. But who's going to pay more for groceries? The people that have minimum. So, the bill is always pushed down to the lowest class citizen and the middle class. It just always is. Middle class and lower. And those people are going to be fighting harder in their lives and have to do more because of people like this that push these agendas that make you feel good on the inside, as opposed to just actually addressing the issues and figuring out what is the cheapest and most best effective way to push this for people like you and me. Okay, let's listen.
They don't have any margin for error. I can afford to give up a lot of my current lifestyle to benefit the planet.
Yes, but you won't, because guess what? Who flew in at this summit on a private jet? You did. And so did all these world leaders. You guys are full crap, okay? I'm with Greta Thunberg. You're just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. It's just silly. It's just silly when they say things like that, and then yet you're like, okay, great, Obama, take a flight on the way home and fly Delta, fly American Airlines, fly whatever other airline you want to fly, and don't fly first class because that's pretentious, but of course you will. But you won't. You won't. Why? I have to. See, I have to take a private jet because I used to be president. You can't catch me on one of those commercial flights. I would never be seen in my life on one of those things. I'm Barack Obama, for God's sake, sir. Let's keep listening.
Because I'll still have a lot left over. A lot of folks don't have that cushion.
Right, I don't.
So that means that any climate plan worth its salt has to take these inequities into account, whether it's through subsidies.
Right, subsidies that ultimately are paid for by you and me. Everything's free, the government can just continue to print money and create more inflation, and nobody fits the bill. It's just the rich that maybe we'll do another tax on the rich to make the rich pay for this of some kind. Oh, and then the rich will pass down that bill to you and me. These ideas, they make you feel good on the inside. They sound promising. They sound like good ideas. Ultimately, it's you and me that fits the bill. Always. I don't care. I honestly don't care what they say. Economists all agree. Anytime I hear crap like that, I'm like, yeah, sure they do.
To poor people, to ease the transition to clean energy, whether it's technology transfers that help poor countries meet their development goals by leapfrogging dirty fuels, we have to pay attention to those embedded inequities and the politics that surrounds them.
Okay, so pay attention to the embedded inequities. Speaking of iniquities, let's listen to the press secretary 2.0. Not Jen. Jean Perrier. let's hear her talk about your gas prices, the pipelines, because when Biden shut down that main pipeline, we stopped a lot of oil production, all that stuff, and then your gas prices went up, and then the energy secretary, just to reiterate, laughs and says, you know what, it's the global market, it's OPEC that sets the prices. There's nothing we can do to ease the price at the pump, which is of course an absolute lie. If we were to actually do more production and open up pipelines, maybe do more pipelines, gas would be super cheap. But no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to help the American people. We're more fixated on our agenda.
Is it being studied right now? Is the administration studying the impact of shutting down the Line 5?
Yes, we are.
Then what's inaccurate?
Well,
So we're studying. Don't you love politicians? We're studying the effects. I'll give you their study right now. I'm paying a hell of a lot more at the pump, all right? And I don't like it. And because of that, I'm paying a hell of a lot more for other products, because guess who also has to fit the bill? Businesses. Imagine that. Do you think they just take on the costs? No. Because if you're a smart business person, you don't just take on the cost, you pass it down. Always.
I thought you were saying that we were going to shut it down, but that is not inaccurate. Okay, great. But the Army Corps of Engineers is preparing an environmental impact to look through this.
And they're talking about the Michigan pipeline. So they're thinking about, another pipeline. We'll just shut down all the pipelines. No big deal. Because you know what? It's about our agenda. It's about our message. Because that's more important than actually solving these problems. These politicians create more problems for you and me, always, than they do solve them. The American people, no matter who's in power, it seems, lose out in the end because we're too busy fighting each other about mandates and stuff like that, while they just continue to pass these laws that cripples our wallets and cripples our economy, and they don't care. Because they're all about, they're basically social media managers, where they just want to look good. They want the likes. They want to feel good factor. They want to be influencers of the time. So if it means that you and me and our wallets are going to be hurt and crippled by their policy, they don't care. They don't care, because it's more about the narrative. It's more about their agenda. Green energy, great. Sure, I'm all for it. Let the private sector do its thing. Because, there's a lot of people like you and me out there who think, you know what, green energy sounds like a great thing. Electric cars are fun to drive. They're freaking fast as crap. They're insanely fast and scary fast. But if I could afford one, I would consider it. But I also use my car to do long distance travel because I do a lot. I like a long drive. And so it's just not in the cards yet. But these people don't care. And while you and me are so fixated on fighting against liberals and conservatives and Republicans, they're just doing these things to push their agenda. And I don't understand how you can be liberal and want these agendas being pushed while you fit the bill and the American people pay more. If you are happy about this green energy push and some of the things that come along and shutting down pipelines and stuff like that, it's because you're rich and you have money. Honestly, you can't be a poor liberal and see what's going on and paying what you're paying and going, you know what, it's fine, because I'm all about green energy in the end. It's like you're either rich or you live in a city and you take public transportation. Because when I lived in Chicago, I took the L everywhere. I didn't have a car in Chicago because why would I have a car? Because I could take the L and bus transportation everywhere. It was great. It was also some of the scariest times in my life. But that being said, I didn't even think about gas prices. So a lot of these major cities, what a lot of liberals live in, and a lot of people that live in the newscast world, they just take their Ubers, they take their public transportation. They're not even concerned about it. They're not even thinking about it. But when that gas price, that heater bill comes up, you let me know how green you are. Because I'm all for being green. I'm all for it if the private sector allows it and you want to buy it. If you are all about green energy, there should be private companies. Solar panel should just be outspoken and speak for itself, and to the point where you just buy it. But it's not that good, right? Because if it was that good, everyone would do it. It's not that. I have an agenda against it. If there was cheap solar panels out there that would last a long time, that would help my electricity bill out, that I could afford, I would strongly consider it. It has nothing to do with being anti-climate change. It's just so stupid. The American people want their goods, and they want it cheap, and they want to live a lifestyle of happiness and joy and not have to worry about paying for things like gas. Gas should be cheap. But no, they're more concerned about their agenda. As Obama says, there's things I can do to help combat climate change because I'm rich. And yet he doesn't do it as he takes his private plane. I don't like these elitist mentality people. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on climate change and some of the things coming down the pipe? Because I struggle having a conversation with people about climate change and green energy if they won't even consider things like nuclear energy. I just can't. I struggle with that. And forest deforestation, cleaning up forests and stuff like that. If you can't have a conversation with people like that, you're in an ideology, you're in a religion, and you can't see the forest from the trees, if you will. Like, if you can't admit that solar panels aren't the best and most efficient way to make energy, I can't have a conversation with you because they don't last forever. And if you're for things like solar panels, you should look up some of the New York Times articles of some of the rare earth metals that are computers, your phone, and where those things actually end up when you recycle them. It's something to strongly consider because you should look it up. Let me know your thoughts on this. Thank you guys so much for listening to Derek O'Shea Show. Again, if you want to support my show, go to buymeacoffee.com/Derek O'Shea Show. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a freaking fantastic rest of the Monday. It means a lot to me that you took time out of your day to listen to me. Honestly, it really does. From the bottom of my heart, it means a lot to me because there are other podcasts out there. And I just want you to know, as always, I try to provide something different than what everyone's talking about. Everyone's talking about mandates, Kyle Rittenhouse, a lot of other stuff, what I'd be happy to talk about, but I want to be different. I don't want to just provide you the same crap that you're probably already listening to. I hope you guys have a great day, and as always, I'll catch you on the next episode of the Derek O'Shea Show.